Marjorie is in a very determined, driven moment in her life where she feels that she has to lead, particularly the, you could call it MAGA, but I just call it America First. And I think a lot more people are attracted to the concept of America First if it's done in the right context. Obviously, everyone has a different interpretation, but in Marjorie's case, she clearly is thinking about her own future, but she also points out that she's really thinking about her children's future. And so when you're a mom, obviously, you kind of have a different perspective. And so in her case, she's very concerned about the path we're heading down right now with Israel. So this is what she had to say with Matt Gaetz over the weekend.
The reason I invited you on is because I think you really diagnose things well ahead of time. And you are concerned about the Republican Party betraying some of the values of America First that President Trump ran on and that you've really been a standard bearer for in the House of Representatives. And in lieu of that, we got to talk about AIPAC attacking you, sending out fundraising emails saying that you are not acting in the interests of our country. Marjorie Taylor Greene, your reaction to AIPAC's fundraising emails attacking you?
Yeah, Matt, I'll go ahead and be straight and honest about this. I'm absolutely furious. And as a matter of fact, AIPAC needs to register as a foreign lobbyist because they're breaking U.S. laws.
And that's a fact, right? So I would be very, very happy to collaborate with her to force the FARA issue yet again, because this has been an issue since before Kennedy was assassinated.
Colin, check your phone, please.
Okay, so this, and there's reason to believe that his stance on Israel is very much reason why he was assassinated. But one of the big things was having AIPAC have to register as a foreign agent. And this has been argued about forever. And they say, well, we represent Americans, Jewish Americans, or just Zionist Americans that care about America's relationship with Israel. So therefore, we don't represent a foreign entity. Bullshit. Bullshit. Their actions say otherwise. Their actions say that they work on behalf of Israel, often against our interest. So, they absolutely are lobbying on behalf of a foreign entity. The fact that they might not themselves be foreign, they very well, American Jews that are lobbying on behalf of AIPAC, they're not foreigners. But if you're lobbying on behalf of a foreign entity, that's it. And she's right. And I hope that this is hell hath no fury like a Southern woman pissed off. That's all I'm going to say. She is livid.
Yeah, and the mistake that they're making, especially the despicable Laura Loomers and, of course, the reprehensible Mark Levins of the world, they don't understand that if you go after somebody like a deep Southern fried woman like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're only throwing gasoline on the fire if you really try to nudge her, because that's the one thing she's looking for. She is one of the people in politics who's a throwback to the old days. She is itching for a fight. Like, she does not run away from it. She is not decorum politics. She has no interest in it whatsoever. She's in it to be a badass. Now, do I think that she's annoying and comes off like a jackass from time to time? 1,000%. In fact, I think a lot of her politics is way too libertarian. But with that said,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. She has many times said things and supported things that I am just completely, not with. So I am not a fan. But in this case, she's on the right side here. It is what it is. She wants to call out AIPAC. I'm with her.
By donating to members of Congress and by taking them on a fully funded trip to Israel every single freshman member of Congress's year. They just took them over just recently and had them meet with the Prime Minister of Israel. But let's frame that correctly. They take them over to meet with the secular government of nuclear-armed Israel. Israel, who is in less than $400 billion in debt. Israel, who has taxpayer-funded health care and college. Israel is not hurting, and they've already proven that they are more than capable of not only defending themselves, but annihilating their enemies to the point of genocide. And
there it is. And she says the G word that Bernie won't say.
Now, the other thing that I think is important, and this is where I think Marjorie needs to be pushed, because again, as I've said, it's kind of like Thomas Massie. It's the same thing with Ilhan Omar. It's the same thing with Summer Lee. It's the same thing with any representative that isn't on the corporate dole. You have to be willing to engage them on issues that actually matter. No one way or the other is going to have a firm conviction as Marjorie would potentially have regarding, let's say, healthcare, for example. I mean, I don't see her as somebody who's just going to say, oh, God, no, I don't want this. I don't want that. It's like, look, this is how it can work for the best of us. The same is true if you're going to mention that Israel has universal education and universal health care. Imagine how much support, Marjorie, you would gain just as a brand if you said, how come Israel gets universal health care and education and we don't have that here in the States? How come Israelis are more important than Americans?
But then, okay, so she's close, right? Like she's so close to being where we would want someone to be if they were going to offshoot and have there be an opportunity of some sort of party thing here, right? Like she's close, but yet she keeps going back to focusing on that they're nuclear armed and they're financially capable of thriving on their own. Therefore, still showing at the end of the day, support for the existence of the state of Israel, right? So she's on our team as far as us not sending them anything anymore.
I don't know if I agree with that, because at the end of the day, if Israel is not backed by us, they can't stand. And so
I don't know, but the way she talks, I know that. But I'm not saying, I don't think that could happen. I don't think that they can live without us. I know they can't. But the way she talks is that.
Now more than ever, they can't. And now things are getting more dicey by the day. Australia just came out today and said that they will recognize Palestine at the UN summit next month in New York City. So remember when the shit libs kept saying that the walls were closing in on Trump constantly during his first term with the Russiagate bullshit? Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The walls are closing in on the genocidal state of Israel, because the world over has had enough.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in Gaza. And Matt, the reason why AIPAC is attacking me is because I dared to tell the truth. Well, Matt, you and I are good friends. We served together in Congress, and you know that I have taken zero money from AIPAC. As a matter of fact, I am so unapologetically American. I have a sign on the door of my office that tells all lobbyists, foreign lobbyists, to stay out of my office, and that they have to follow the law. They have to follow the law and register as a foreign lobbyist and be clear about what country they represent. Because I represent America. As a matter of fact, I've been saying America first for a long time, but I'm getting to the point of saying America only. And I'll tell you why, Matt. It's because pretty much if you're under the age of 40, you have no hope for the future. We're $37 trillion in debt. People can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford rent. They can't afford insurance. They can't afford their bills. And we have HB1 visas stealing all these American jobs. And I'm sick and tired and fed up with it. So if AIPAC, who donates, by the way, to more Democrats than Republicans, as a matter of fact, they're all.
That's not true. It's pretty even.
They all have handlers. And more importantly, and this is a point that we need to make, it isn't, yes, we hate AIPAC and they should be registered as a foreign agent. But more than those lobbyists, there are two military-industrial complex lobbyists for every single member of Congress. So each member of Congress gets two military-industrial complex lobbyists that are assigned to them. That's how big this is.
Yeah. And Day Jones is right. And yet she votes for the big, beautiful bill, which runs up the debt. So you can't have it both ways. You have to pick a side. Now, I do think that Marjorie is pretty concrete in her position on this. However, politics has to continue to evolve, and we have to continue to fight along the front lines with people who are willing to fight. Marjorie's willing to go places that very few others are willing to go, including using the G word, as Jen said.
Yes, Jimmy, Kofi and J Street too. Yes, that's just, sorry.
Yeah. So is it true that some of the other NGOs, nonprofits contribute more to the Democrats like J Street? Absolutely they do. However, this idea that there are more bought off Democrats than Republicans when it comes to the Israel lobby, that's simply not true. It's simply, that there's more Republicans.
But it's close.
Of course it's close.
It's not like there's a noticeable difference, but
it's like 95% of Republicans and 85% of Democrats.
Right.
Okay, this is the same argument that people give about going to vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. It's like, I don't care what size of a shit bag it is. It's still a shit bag at the end of the day. So don't try to sell me on that crap. No one should be saying that.
No.
All for Democrats, but they do donate to Republicans as well. But listen, if AIPAC wants to come after me and accuse me of betraying my American values, AIPAC, you know what? You can bring it on. I am totally ready for this. And this is a fight that I will fight, and I will give it my all. And I can guarantee you, you're going to lose, because America is fed up, Matt. They're fed up to here with funding foreign wars, funding foreign causes, funding foreign countries for foreign reasons that have nothing to do with Americans, while Americans work their ass off every day and pay their taxes and come home and they're living paycheck to paycheck and their credit cards are maxed out. I don't care anymore. I honestly don't care. So I'll burn this bridge to the ground and I will let the flames light the way, and because this is a fight that needs to happen.
If we were still in Congress, I would just say I associate myself with the comments of the gentlelady from Georgia, because everything you said there is factual and true, and at times unpleasant for people to hear.
Yeah, she's right. And, again, I think it's done. Is it over? I think it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. She's willing to put herself out. She always has been. That's what makes her revolutionary. Again, I disagree with her on probably like 80 plus more percent of things. She is not somebody that I would consider to be in my tribe of people. But yet I don't know that, them pissing her off and go is smart either. And I think and as someone who's looking to move into that district, she's very liked. She's very popular in her district, and they're not going to be able, in fact, them going after her will only make people support her. It's so going to backfire.
Well, the other thing that was pointed out, which I thought was hysterical, is that apparently AIPAC put out an attack, and Colin, I know I sent you some information via X, Twitter, regarding Marjorie. And one thing that they decided to point out is the amount of, AIPAC wanted to point out the amount of AIPAC donors in her district. And evidently, the amount of people, including Laura Loomer, who decided to come after her and attack her, again, this is who these people are. They are cowards. They all fight for whatever the reasons are, and the whole cat fighting bullshit, which to me is so stupid. But if there was a real cat fight between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Loomer, my money's on Marjorie.
Marjorie, scrappy. She's very scrappy.
So I don't know if there's any true relevance to this. All I know is that AIPAC has basically put Marjorie Taylor's face on a dartboard, and they're going to try to hit her with as many darts as they can, because they clearly don't want anybody speaking up. Again, that's the danger of having one very powerful voice in Congress who is willing to just buck every trend and say, the hell with playing it safe. I'm going to go for it. I know my constituents love me. I know they'll protect me at the ballot box. So I'm going to say what needs to be said. Now, granted, I think she's putting herself in a great deal of danger by doing it, but that's what happens. You talk about crumbling empires. I mean, Israel, you had Mark Levin coming after her. You had AIPAC coming after her. You had Mr. Shitbag himself, Io Jacobi, coming after her. And she's just going to tell her side and just say, you guys are all full of it. You're not America first. You're Israel first. The difference between MAGA and MIGA, as they say. But in this case, Marjorie decided to go right for the throat with Laura Loomer, who, again, of all the people who does not deserve to be given any type of a platform, it's somebody like Laura Loomer, who
I still don't understand why she has a platform.
Well, there's a belief that she has some type of an illicit relationship with Trump, and that's the reason. And it's certainly possible.
But I mean, who is she that, why do we care? Who is she? Why do we care?
I don't care.
No, I mean, originally, that's why at some point I thought that she must have been
she ran, you're not listening. She ran for Congress against whatever her name, she ran in the district that I used to live in when I was at Delray Beach. She ran against the former mayor of West Palm. Her name is slipping me right now. She's another insider trader. So they all suck. You know, there isn't. People have to stop associating this idea that there are good guys and bad guys in the mix here.
No, but I do love this. I do love this red on red violence. This is great.
This is different. This is catfight violence. This is serious.
No. And you know what? That's offensive to me as a female person. Okay. Why is it a catfight? Because it's women.
Well, women, when they get into these types of arguments.
What are these types of arguments? Do you want to go and look at all the different types of ridiculous Twitter fights that people like Trump and Musk and all these moron men are having? Do not call this a catfight. There's no need to be a misogynist in this project.
Oh, God, shut up.
No, I'm serious. Why are you calling it a catfight? I can't speak for Loomer, but I bet you anything that Marjorie knows how to throw a punch. So let's have some respect. It's not a catfight. It's just like you'd say any other dispute.
Colin, do you have the tweet from AIPAC that she responded to, that they attacked her on? Because again, I don't need to read her, bitching to about Laura Loomer.
No,
Laura Loomer sucks. And
yeah, we don't need to hear about that. We don't need to hear about Laura Loomer.
All right, so I just let me get that over to you real quick. But that was one to me that I thought was very telling, because they are scared of her. There is no reason that they would not come after her unless they thought that she was a legitimate threat, and they do think that she's a threat, which is why they're trying to move heaven and earth to go at her.
And it's going to be awesome. It's going to backfire gloriously. It's so, and I hate again referring to the Streisand effect, but she is right when she says that people are up to here. Now, my up to here is a lot taller than her up to here, but people are fed up. Okay. And regardless of the reason, like her reason and my reason are not the same reason. That's true. Good point, David Hunter.
But it's okay when David points it out.
No, he wasn't referring to women as a catfight. He wasn't being a misogynist.
I was simply saying that sometimes when women get into it with each other, they can be very visceral, the reaction that they have towards each other. I
prefer to just say women are thorough and formidable, and we could just leave it at that.
That's fine.
The fact that I wouldn't want to get into it with a cat before I wouldn't want to get into it with a dog. You know what I mean? Like, dogs are much more pliable to me. Healthy respect for the feline.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I am fed up with the outright slander and lies about me because I'm unapologetically America first. And let me tell you, just saying that alone, that is a winning message. It is a superior winning message. You can't unsell that, no matter how hard you try. And there's already a perception amongst the not so up to snuff politicos out there that are not really aware of just how deep the rabbit hole goes with the Israel lobby and how they are 1,000% loyal to Israel and 0% loyal to the United States. And so she points out, I am demanding AIPAC register as a foreign lobbyist, and I refuse to vote for U.S. taxpayers' hard-earned money to fund foreign aid and foreign wars. Starting to sound a lot like what Tulsi Gabbard used to sound like.
She's like the inverse of Tulsi Gabbard. Like, who would have thought that we would be saying anything remotely complimentary about her, you know?
So, of course, the dickwads over at AIPAC from their ivory towers.
I love this. This is good because this is going to go into the point that I was just making about what their argument is against having to register under FARA.
5 million U.S. citizens, including more than 9,000 of MTG's own constituents, are AIPAC members. No, they're not AIPAC members. They have donated to AIPAC, which again doesn't necessarily mean that they're members. But
I question what they're what they consider as donating and members.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
We are unapologetically patriotic Americans, no, you're not, who advocate for an alliance that make the U.S. safer, stronger, and more prosperous. No, you don't. Marjorie Taylor Greene has this on her door in the Congressional Hall. That's 0.011% of my district. Now stop the law and register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act 22 U.S. Code 611-62. Do not enter my office because you are not registered under FARA. I only work for the American people. My job is representative in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, my question is, why is Marjorie Taylor Greene the only person putting a message out there like this? You could say Thomas Massie too, but I want to know why. I mean, even if you want to include Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar in there as well. But
you
why
could throw Bernie in there if you wanted to? He doesn't work with the AIPAC people.
But why is there not a concerted effort to get this anti-American foreign sleaze of an organization?
Because they're scared of them. We've talked about this. It isn't even a matter of whether or not you take their money. Like we've said, people like AOC Pelosi, like Bernie, these are people that they don't take AIPAC money, but they're doing their bidding anyway. And so even if they don't take the money, but they're scared of being challenged by them or scared to stand up to them, you're their bitch. It just makes you really cheap.
There's a good point, Colanello. And AOC still acts like AIPAC's bitch.
See my previous few sentences. Right. She's just a cheaper whore.
Yeah.
It's not a selling point.
Silence.
She does it for free.
Silence gets people killed. And people who put their career ahead of everybody else. Could you imagine? This is the impact that Marjorie is having. Could you imagine if Alex was using the same incendiary language that Marjorie is using right now with the platform that she has and the type of impact that could have? No, she doesn't do it.
No. Well,
there is no coming back.
Vote?
That's it.
One vote. I don't know what one vote he's referring to.
Sometimes in life, you get one shot. And if you fuck up, that's it.
But what's one vote? I don't understand what's one vote.
She voted for the Iron Dome, and then she voted against Marjorie's bill. She is proving that
no, Colanello, it's every vote she's made regarding this for the past 2 years. It's the fact that she stayed silent during Joe. It's not one vote. You are that's absurd to think that. It really is. And no, she's a whore because she's doing the bidding of them and not even getting the money. So she's just cheaper.
Not even making
you're going to vote for the same shit that they want. You might as well take their money. But the only reason, so she's too scared of them. Then
I've always said if she were an effective legislator, that would be one thing. But she isn't even that. Like Marjorie, AOC is one of the most ineffectual legislators in all of Congress. In fact, for a significant portion of her tenure there, she's been in the bottom 10 members of the entire delegation. That's pathetic, especially when you have that big of a reach. She's got probably the biggest reach out of any congressional.
And that big of a mandate when she got in there, and that much attention and that much power and that much backing and that much money. But the reality is she was never what they were selling us that she was.